Thanks for joining us here at Kauffman Stadium. We've just been making the rounds after the news came about the suspension and the fine. I guess that's what we're boiling it down to, Andy, with Ventura and Herrera. From where I sit, I thought it would be a little harsher. What do you think, and why don't you think it was harsher if you thought it would be?
Well, I don't know why, what goes into the process of, it's kind of arbitrary them deciding, how many games they choose. There's precedents, and sometimes they follow them, sometimes they don't. But yeah, I think the Royals probably caught a break here. Ventura is not even suspended, and he's paid a fine that I'm sure he can afford. And Herrera gets 5 games, which I think there was an expectation that he might get more than that he would get 7 to 10 or something like that, and then it would subsequently get maybe appealed down to 4 or 5. So he's going to start at 5. He's appealed it. He'll be available until they get all that stuff settled in the next couple weeks. And the hope is maybe he can get it knocked down to 2 or 3. I doubt it'll get totally erased because he threw at someone while it was under a warning. So he's probably going to serve some sort of suspension. But yeah, he could maybe knock a game or 2 off the suspension.
Well, for their sake, just the fact that there is an appeals process is probably a big deal right now with what's going on with Holland. How much does that help them just to be able to stall, basically?
It's big. If Greg Holland was healthy, maybe you can make the argument, hey, just take your 5 games,
right,
and make sure you're ready for when Detroit comes here in a couple weeks, like maybe 10 days or something like that. So, but with Holland down for the foreseeable future, he hasn't picked up a ball since last Friday, and he's still a few days away from it. They need 2 of their big relievers here, and so Wade Davis is obviously filled in fine. Herrera's pitched well, except for that one ball that slipped, and so they need him here to contribute.
And just one last thing on Ventura. Is there something he needs to be learning right now, and does he get that out of this, or did this stop short of giving him any reason to be contrite about, less about the pitching itself, but then the demeanor? Hey, Kelvin.
That was fun. Yeah, I don't know.
Too bad it wasn't Yordano also, but yeah.
It's the perils of live TV. Yeah, I don't know. Should he be picking fights with Mike Trout? Should he be walking towards Brett Lawrie in a manner that could be construed as threatening if they're hitting him? Probably not. Will a fine teach that lesson? I don't know. I don't know if it's a lesson that needs to be taught necessarily.
Yeah.
There's something about pitching with attitude, about pitching with confidence, about pitching with swagger, especially with the style he uses. So I don't know. It's something definitely worth monitoring because he has drawn a lot of attention with sort of he's drawn a lot of attention very early on this year for things that don't involve how he pitches, and that's interesting to follow.
Right. Well, we'll be following it closer and sooner than I might have expected, than any of us might have expected, because he won't miss a start apparently, unless there's some injury that comes up. And thanks for joining us here, and please keep checking us out at True Blue, our app, and at kansascity.com.